So, welcome to JavaLand, and today we have Mark Heckler here, which arrived from the US to give a talk about reactive programming, right?
Reactive data.
Reactive data, and yeah, he works at Pivotal and is now here and open for questions. So,
Yes.
in general, how do you how do you perceive the conference overall currently?
Well,
The involvement?
this is my second year coming to JavaLand, and last time I was here, I didn't make it last year, but last time I was here, the weather was much nicer. I don't know
it was
who I
really
need
sunny,
to complain to about that, but no, it's awesome. I love the idea of having a conference in an amusement park because in the off season, of course, it's open. Or not, I shouldn't say open. It's open to us, but it's wide open for us to use. And of course, an amusement park has a lot of different auditoriums and settings, and it's nicely spaced out, so you get a nice walk in between sessions. So the environment for talks is really nicely configured. And then once you leave a talk to get to another talk, there's plenty of time to get there. But it gives you a nice walk to kind of get out. Maybe not so nice in rainy weather, but in a nice day, it's just a really great setup for it. So yeah, I love the venue, and JavaLand. You always seem to put on a great event.
Okay. So, well, what do you think should be the direction for the future when you compare it to other conferences? I mean, you've been to a lot. What would you hope for? Do you see some room for improvements, or what would you suggest, for example?
Every conference has its benefits, its pros, and every conference has its cons. But I think everybody has something that they do exceedingly well. And like I said, I do love the idea of the layout. I think it's one area that could probably be improved is something that's just kind of in the nature of theme parks, which in amusement parks, in the hotels, the internet is not as big a strong point because everybody's typically flooding the park and they're riding rides and they're getting involved and they're doing things. So I think in that regard, an amusement park and of course the on-site hotels aren't as geared toward folks who probably have to cram for a presentation in their room the night before. But that's probably I guess if you're looking for a weakest part, that's probably the weakest link in the chain. But universally, everything is so nice. I don't want to be mean to any other conferences who are known for their bad food. I don't want to be mean to other conferences that are known for being difficult to get from one place to another. But I think there are so many things that JavaLand gets right that the hotel Wi-Fi I think we can roll with. So
okay. So what excites you about development of Java and, for example, also Spring in the?
My gosh, I mean, the Spring ecosystem is all there is, right? I mean, nobody does anything else, right? Maybe a little. Okay, maybe a little. No,
there are some.
I've heard rumors about that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure they're true, but I've heard rumors.
Yeah, I've heard rumors. Yeah.
Well, I think
it's all the way Spring, of course.
Yes,
yeah.
of course, yes. I do think that the Java ecosystem is undergoing some really cool changes because. Kotlin, I don't know, a lot of our watchers, listeners have explored Kotlin. A lot of others haven't. And that's kind of sad, I think, because Kotlin is an excellent JVM-based language that also has reach into non-JVM applications as well. But Kotlin, I always kind of I hope I don't get in trouble from anybody, friends for saying this, but I always kind of call Kotlin Java++, because it gives you a look at some of the things that the Java architects are looking at doing, but they have a lot more that they need to be careful of so that they maintain backward compatibility and they implement something in the way that it has the maximum reach and covers the most use cases well. And Kotlin, being a younger language, can kind of jump out on some of these things, and not that they're reckless at all, but they can experiment a little bit more. With a little more latitude than perhaps Java can, the Java architects. So Kotlin is doing some really cool, interesting, innovative things. And I think the Java architects are looking at that in many ways as maybe a proof of concept, in that they say, well, data classes as an example.
Yep.
That's something that a lot of people have said this makes a lot of sense. Some people don't, but generally speaking, I think Kotlin has proven that they're a really useful concept, and of course other things like Lombok as well. But I think that it gives you some idea of the innovation that's happening or will be happening in Java as well. And Java, with the tighter release schedule, gives them more iterations in a similar amount of time. So they're being a lot more nimble and dynamic as well. Then you get into the Spring area. And of course, Spring Framework 5 came out last fall, 1 week after Java 9, with full Java 9 support from day one, and full first-class Kotlin support. So reactive support baked in. So you've got a lot of different things that are being used to solve real-world problems that maybe couldn't be solved before, or that weren't well solved before, that are baked in from day one in Spring Framework 5. And of course, Spring Boot 2 just rolled out with full support for all of these components. So you get a lot of excitement that, even though the ecosystem was pretty dynamic already, but you're seeing a lot of new excitement coming in all of these ways that makes it a really great time to be a Java and Spring developer.
So besides that, concerning your main focus of topics, I might have had a glance that you already are interested into blockchain technology. Is this right?
Oh, yes. I've got a personal project that I'm working on to blockchain all the world, to blockchain serverless all the world, and to deploy it on Kubernetes. And let's see, what am I missing? Let's see, serverless blockchain as a service. Yes, so we'll be hosting that too. I'm kidding. But blockchain is an interesting technology that many people are trying to misapply, as you're well aware. I kind of went on a riff on that not that long ago to try to pack the maximum number of buzzwords in the shortest amount of space. I think I did a pretty good job, but I have had pointed out to me a couple areas that I can improve. So I will come back with an IoT enabled, Kubernetes deployed serverless blockchain as a service. Oh, with artificial intelligence. There we go. So yeah, look for that in 2018, latter half maybe. And funding, I'll be seeking funding soon on that.
Okay. So as you can see, there is always a trend towards getting the latest, greatest topics also to the conference and discuss them around here.
JavaLand 2019. Yes, I'll work on that.
Yeah, perfect. So besides that, we've also seen that you tried to combine your travel venues a bit. So what's coming up next after JavaLand for you?
Well, I will be visiting the Bremen Jug and be co-presenting there with a good friend Michael Plod. And visiting there for a little while, a few days, and then from there going to Bucharest, Romania. And I was asked to keynote, so apparently they hadn't seen me speak. So I don't know. I'm kidding. The super group there. I'm just really excited to be invited and to get to speak there. And after that, I'll be back home for a few days before they send me out in a different direction. So
okay, so. And for you, the Big Deals conference also Spring I/O, right?
Yeah, Spring I/O is coming up, yes, in Barcelona. So that's going to be really awesome. Always is awesome. They put on a great event every year. This year in a new venue, so I'll have to figure out a different hotel. But yeah, it's always universally excellent. And then Spring One Platform, which is the pivotal event where all of the core committers and community and everybody gets involved and just really dives deep. Every session is a deep dive. We're doing that in September, I believe, in Washington, D.C., or near Washington, D.C., at the Gaylord Resort. So that will be very nice and a great way to kind of come and drink from the well of Spring and the Spring source, if you will. As well as if you're dealing with Cloud Foundry and cloud deployments, then that's a good place to go for that too. So
okay, so let's maybe wrap it up. We've covered a lot of topics. So the last question will be, what 3 words would you associate with the JavaLand conference after you've left?
I always go blank on these. But I would say dynamic and exciting and innovative, because there's always a lot of really cool stuff that's covered from every different angle here. Excellent, excellent time.
Awesome. So thanks, Mark Heckler, for being here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, sir.
And then see you next time.
Yes, I hope.
Bye.